China on Monday officially released the 2023 edition of its so-called standard map. The map incorporates its claims over Arunachal Pradesh, Aksai Chin, Taiwan and the disputed South China Sea. India maintains that the state of Arunachal Pradesh has always been and will always be an integral part of the country. China's move is being seen as a response to India holding events in the lead-up to the G20 summit in the state, which Beijing had opposed. It's a brazen display of China's territorial claims and expansionist ambitions, with the situation along the border already tense with India and barely 2 weeks to go for the New Delhi G20 summit. How will this latest irrational act affect relations going forward? To discuss this, we have with us Captain Alok Bansal, Director of India Foundation. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on WION.
Good afternoon.
So my first question to you, China has released the map, as I'm sure you know. It also shows the entire Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh and Aksai Chin as part of China. What's your take on the situation? It seems too grave to be a mere cartographic error.
See, we need to be very clear that China, right from 50s, has been showing these two areas as territory. So China has been claiming, so there is no change as far as the new map is concerned. It's only reiterating what China has been doing it for so long. However, it needs to be highlighted that India's claims on both these territories are extremely sound. In fact, as far as Arunachal Pradesh is concerned, 1914 Shimla Accord, where Chinese representative was present, had delineated the border between India, then British India and Tibet. And so consequently, as far as Arunachal Pradesh is concerned, Indian position is fairly strong. And the same McMahon line, which China is refusing to accept in the case of India, has been accepted by China in case of Myanmar. So there is no doubt as far as McMahon line and Arunachal Pradesh is concerned. As far as Aksai Chin is concerned, again, if we look at it, go into history, we will see that during the colonial period, the colonial masters have been delineating the borders from time and again, and all these intimations were sent to Qing emperors and the subsequent rulers of China. And China, of course, indulged in aggression and has occupied a large chunk of our territory, which continues to be under its occupation. So that is the situation as far as these two areas are concerned. China's cartographic aggression will not change the situation on ground. Arunachal Pradesh is firmly with India and an integral part of India. And Arunachal Pradesh is an inhabited area. The citizens of Arunachal Pradesh consider India to be their country, their nation. And I think there is no doubt, irrespective of what China tries, that is not going to change.
Right.
As far as Aksai Chin is concerned, the territory which is occupied by China is largely uninhabited. And consequently, China continues to sit there. We have a debate as far as line of actual control is concerned. And I think that will continue to happen. But cartographic aggression by China has continued unabated for decades and will continue in near future as well.
Right, absolutely, sir. Now, this really puts on display China's expansionist ambitions. Xi Jinping is set to attend the upcoming G20 summit as well. Do you think a discussion on this will come up? Do you think India can afford to remain quiet on this?
See, I feel Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping did have certain discussions during the summit. And I think the two countries would be keen to normalize relations. And I think there should be a follow-up of what happened in South Africa, in New Delhi. And I think at the moment, what we would be looking at is stabilization along the line of actual control, because the resolution of the border dispute is a long drawn process. And I don't think so it can be resolved in a short time.
Right, so in fact, I was just going to come to this. As you rightly mentioned, Indian Prime Minister and the Chinese President did hold candid talks on the sidelines of the BRICS summit, where the two sides did agree to deal with the border issue properly. Now, but with this release, will this new map further strain relations between the two countries? Is it likely to impact the discussions going forward?
I personally don't think so, because this new map is nothing but a reiteration of what China has been doing it for decades. China's old map also, as far as this territory is concerned, shows the same thing. It virtually shows the entire Arunachal Pradesh, with the exception of Tirap Changlang district, as part of China. And it's also been showing a significant territory of Ladakh as its own territory. However, what is more critical is the line of actual control and how the two countries perceive this difference as far as the line of actual control is concerned.
Right, so now China's new map, it also underlines claims over Taiwan and South China Sea. Taiwan also, it's lived for decades under the constant threat of an invasion by China. Beijing claims Taiwan as part of its territory to be seized one day. What is your assessment of the situation?
See, as far as Taiwan is concerned, China has always considered it as an integral part. Even government of India's position on Taiwan is saying that it is part of China. The only thing is what we is that there is a different regime in Taiwan, and whatever has to be done needs to be resolved peacefully. It is South China Sea, where China's claims are the most irredentist and actually not based on any legal regime or international order, because China has simply drawn 8 dash lines and considers all waters inside it to be its internal waters. And it is not in accordance with any convention, any laws. And I think this is going to be a problem. This is going to be the real flashpoint. And it's going to be a flashpoint not only with the other claimants, but also with the international community, because it impacts on the freedom of navigation as far as high seas are concerned.
Right, so now this extension of territorial claims, of course, indicates a concerted strategy consistent with China's stance on the East and South China Sea disputes. How do you see the situation unfolding going forward?
See, it is this area, as I said, where you will see certain conflicts. There'll be flashpoints because other countries are also equally assertive. We saw recent tensions with Philippines. Vietnam and China have already been having a problem. And Taiwan, or Republic of China as it calls itself, is already occupying certain territory. There are islands where there are claims of Malaysia, Brunei. So there is a tension. And more significantly, China's claim of these waters being internal waters is going to create a serious problem, because the Western world, as well as countries like India, have never accepted that these are internal waters, and we believe in freedom of navigation as far as high seas are concerned. And consequently, we have been participating in the patrols through the South China Sea to reinforce our right of freedom of navigation in these waters.
Right. Well, Captain Alok Bansal, thank you so much for joining us on WION with your insights on this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.